Hi everyone. All right, so this week in week one, you are already being introduced to the concept of a theme or a thematic connection. You'll notice this popping up in your discussion board questions for this week in FAS 201 and 202, and then you'll also notice it in some of your reading, as well as the information and materials that you're looking at to look ahead for your final paper project. So I wanted to do a quick video tutorial on what a theme is, what it is that we're talking about when we say a theme. And because you're going to see this come up again and again throughout the course, and what we're referring to when we talk about thematic connections within the humanities. So I want to talk about the what, the why, and the how. So the what, when we say what is a theme or a thematic connection, a theme itself is basically a larger idea, a motif, or a concept that might appear again and again in art or works of artistic expression. Some of these themes are universal, meaning that they are present from culture to culture, from place to place, from time period to time period. We see them again and again throughout history. And others might be more specific to a particular time period. But for just some examples, the theme of love is an important one. We see again and again since the beginning of time. And of course, we see it appear again and again throughout different artistic expressions and styles throughout history. The theme of faith or religion, another powerful universal theme, meaning that it's something that we see appear in some form or another from culture to culture throughout history. The theme of the hero or the concept of the heroic figure, what makes a hero, why do we relate or connect so powerfully to the concept of the hero, and how that theme appears again and again throughout art. The theme of family, the connections of a familial relationship, those appear again and again throughout history and art. The theme of death, for better or for worse, is another one that we constantly think about or we see appear again and again in artistic expression. The theme of identity, self-identity or group identity, how we identify who we are as individuals or as a group. Some more specific themes, the themes of dreams or the subconscious, what those might mean about us as individuals or how they relate to us as cultures. The theme of nature, we see that again appear in art and in artistic expression throughout history in various ways. The theme of portraiture, whether it's self-portraiture or portraits of others, this idea of capturing the likeness of another, whether that's a realistic likeness or an emotional likeness. The theme of power, we see that from culture to culture as well, whether it manifests itself in military power or religious power or the power of another theme or concept like love or family. And then again, for better or for worse, the concept or the theme of war is another somewhat universal theme, but maybe more specific from culture to culture. So why do we want to look at thematic connections when we study the humanities? One reason is to help us think about these works of art that we're studying maybe from the ancient periods all the way up to today, to help think about them outside of a vacuum. So we don't think of them as just occurring as this object or an image that's hanging there in the museum or placed there in the museum, or something that we might see in a book or in a textbook or on an online database of museum pieces. It helps us take it out of that vacuum and actually place it within its time period. When we think about the themes of love and nature and family and power and so forth that might have influenced the reason those works of art were created, it helps us to think of those works as actual objects of their time. It also helps us make connections to notice the relevance of studying the arts and humanities. So when we're looking at something today in 2017, we can see how an object that may have been created thousands and thousands of years ago on the other side of the earth has a similar connection to something that we're still grappling with today. How do we make thematic connections? So when we're studying the arts and humanities, some practical ways we do this. You'll notice that in your first discussion board this week for FAS 201 and 202, you're asked to consider two works of art and link them together with a common theme. So I'm going to choose two works of art from any time period in the world, any style, anything you wish, as long as those two works have a similar theme that you can connect them with, and start practicing discussions and conversations about how works share similar themes. And one thing I suggest is to always consider a theme that interests you. So something that you find intriguing or something you'd like to learn more about, especially since your paper in FAS 201 and 202 is going to ask you to look at thematic connections, and you're going to get a list of suggested works of art and themes that you're going to choose from, but you want to find a theme on that list that is appealing to you and interesting to you, or one that maybe you've already considered. So if there's times you find yourself already considering questions of identity or the hero or death or nature, power, family, these are themes that you might consider using in your own work for FAS 201 and 202, because of course the more you're interested in it, the more you're going to be engaged with your work and writing, and you're going to be doing lots of work with it in the weeks ahead. All right, thanks everybody.